talked about this, but let's just if we could just quickly walk through it at a very basic level. Let's say I'm a ultra talented founder, and I'm building a tech-based product that fits the target market of TechCrunchers, so I believe. Mm-hmm. What do I need to get started? Do I need to have a product, for instance? Just, walk through a couple of these things with us. Can I get an article on TechCrunch with just funding, and without a product? Can I get a story with a great product and no funding? What do I need? What do I need to kind of break through to make this happen?
There's no formula. Sorry. I think I don't know. You can always email into tips, or you can hire a PR firm to harass us, or you can
But I feel like
reply us on Twitter,
okay.
Or you can do all of those things that are known already, and it might work. But it's really
like how many stories have you written? Well, you're not writing a tremendous amount, but take one of the other writers. How many stories would they have written this year from an @reply on Twitter? Any idea?
I actually
a handful, dozens.
I don't ask them.
But you think it does happen?
Yeah. I look at all that stuff.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do is they get the types of emails that I see that are just depressing are the ones where it's 1,000-word disposition on why my startup is awesome. I've written those to press before.
Sure.
It's not a good idea.
We've got a few people in the audience ready to hand you one of those tonight.
It's honestly you honestly just gotta sum it up. Even if it's a complex thing, it's part of your job as an entrepreneur to figure out how to sum it up in a way that other people can understand. It's tough. Writing is tough.
Yeah.
Writers hate writing. Dirty secret. It's really hard to sum up complex ideas into a small number of words that are easy to understand. And being able to do that effectively is a 4-sentence email I get from somebody
that strikes the right chord.
It's not just it answers all the obvious questions, here's why it's not another Instagram. We have videos. That wouldn't work. But you see what I mean,
Well, it seems just my experience with it, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems kind of gentle persistence meshed with what you're talking about, simplicity, where the problem is you have people that say, okay, I'll send you, no problem, I'd love to send you a 4-sentence email, and it's you feel on the other end somebody's getting it and they're like, oh my gosh, really? He sends a tip in with 4 sentences? What a lazy founder.
Well, 4 sentences.
He can't even come up with anything better to describe his startup than 4 sentences.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay,
let's do 2 paragraphs.
That's the max? What is that?
It's just
150 words?
You gotta not look like a press release written by somebody who doesn't understand the product. You have to just say why it matters. And and here's the tough reality: it might not matter. It might suck.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance we'll write about it anyway. We've written about plenty of stuff that sucks, including things I've done. But
yeah, or me.
Or not written about things I've done. I'm my job and our job at TechCrunch is to try to be on the side of the entrepreneur, but that's a concept, right? It's not being on the side of each of you individually all of the time for whatever you want. It's being there to help the ecosystem, right? And at some level to try to cut down on the noise and point people to what matters.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that means saying no, and it sucks. It'll suck for me when I do my next startup and my friends in the press are like, this is dumb, I'm not going to cover it, or I don't have time to respond to your email. That's going to happen to me again.
Well, it might, but probably not. This is the other thing is a lot of these examples you're talking about, David Lee emails you or Arrington emails you, these are all relationship-based referrals.
That happens. Yeah, that happens
but does it happen? Because I feel like when I read about something, I can say, I try to back into it,
how did it get there?
Yeah, how did this happen? And did this person send it to tips? It's No, probably not. Did the writer find this on Hacker News? Maybe. Did Arrington email and say,
You know what?
write about my startup?
You know what we
Maybe.
do? A lot of what we try to do is just hit the streets. And so Josh Constein, Anthony Ha, Ryan Lawler, Colleen Taylor, Kim I. Cutler,
Rip
when he shows up. Are you watching this, Rip? Myself,
Definitely
when I can,
not.
like, everybody's going out to events all the time and trying to take meetings and trying to meet new people. And, Josh, the Rap Genius guys, he met those guys not because of an introduction, because he had a meeting in a restaurant and he heard them talking at the table next to him, and he came up to them and asked them. So, like, we're on the prowl. We're for sure looking.
Was that at Creamery or where was that?
I have no idea.
Okay. I think it was probably at the Creamery.
It's probably the Creamery. But like we're constantly going to events and trying to meet people and like trying to have our ear to the street. So we're out there, and
Founders should be too.
yeah, like I mean it's not always what you have to do. Obviously it always helps to network and convince people who are better connected that like they should help you out. But it's really this startups are hard, and it's when everyone's trying to do them, it's hard to stand out from the crowd, and there's no magic formula. Like some people it's going to be press, some people it's just going to be focusing on the product and like the few users who you care about. Like yeah, and honestly, like there have been so many people we've covered or who TechCrunch has hyped up over the years or other press has hyped up over the years who have not like who have met bitter endings for other reasons. Like press is actually really dangerous.
Like they
sometimes.
died or something, or what do you mean?
Well, like they had an embarrassing failure.
Okay.
It's fine to have a failure, but like it's tougher to swallow when you have gone out and declared yourself like the future.
Sure.
Right, and so that's the problem with press, right? Like, is it something you really want? Like, you guys got to ask yourselves that. If like, do you really want that kind of attention for the stage you're at? And oftentimes, people overestimate its importance.